Welcome to another session with the Andrew Tucker Report channel. And this morning, we are going to be looking at disaster capitalism, why Jamaica's hurricane relief is so slow. Now, the fact of the matter is that Jamaicans are known around the world for their hospitality, for their generosity of spirit, and for their willingness to be compassionate to those who are suffering. But one of the sad realities is that we don't really help our people. We tend to prefer to help other people, and we get relief to them when they need them. But when our people are in crisis, we act very slowly. We act very slowly. And we knew that Hurricane Melissa was on its way. And Jamaica should have already had a disaster preparation committee in which they should have itemized or they should have planned what they would have done after the hurricane had passed. Now we're looking at the aftermath, which is destructive and heart-wrenching. And yet still we cannot at this moment get the supplies necessary for the people. We know that they're not going to be able to be housed overnight and shelters have to be found. And, a gentleman was on TikTok last night suggesting that those in Kingston, they have gone back to their normal lives and are not concerned about what is happening to their brothers and sisters for the most part in the southwestern end of the island. Now, he was suggesting that we should have a lockdown in terms of the country, lockdown in terms of businesses, and ensure that at least our brothers and sisters are helped in the sections of the island which have been devastated by Hurricane Melissa. But what we're seeing in Jamaica is managing the disaster. We are not proactively taking steps to ensure that people drink water, they have drinking water, and they're eating, and they have some clothes to put on their backs, other than the wet clothes that they have on their backs that, after the hurricane destroyed everything that they've ever owned and had. The prime minister seems to prefer to have this optics of going through helicopters. Okay. Now, where are the helicopters now to roam over to, you know, get supplies to people? I see Dana Morrison Dixon suggesting that the roads are cluttered with vehicles because, as family members, rightly so, are trying to get supplies to their families and loved ones. Because if the government does not really take responsibility, and all we're seeing are helicopters and planes landing in Jamaica with supplies. Supplies for whom? Supplies for whom? Supplies for the corporate elites to rob and to steal and to make huge profits from what is known as disaster capitalism. And I want to understand that some of our elites thrive, if not most of them, when we have these disasters. And that is why I don't listen to the news, because I understand that the news is misinformation. Whether it's coming from Cliff Hughes or any of them down there, it's misinformation. And they are in cahoots with the nonsense that is happening there. And they do not understand that they ought to call out the government for not sending supplies on time to our people. Okay? So what it seems is that they want outbreak of diseases to happen in the communities. For one, for many reasons, that they will vacate their land. They will evacuate, they will want to leave. Okay? Outbreak of diseases create the whole monster of different things, that medication, medical care, which will be expensive, okay? But it puts money into the pockets of the global elites, right? And Andrew Holness is in a country that is a tiny piece of rock. And we cannot collaborate with the United States to get aircraft or helicopters, whatever they need to get, so that they can get to the zones that, in which the roads are impassable, to get food and supplies to our people and to lift them and to transfer them into shelters so that they can at least survive for the moment. This is now survival. And I'm hearing Danville Walker, seems to be the leader of the disaster committee, because that's what they do. They sit in chairs and chat nonsense. They have absolutely nothing in the brain to sit and think about how the relief supplies can be dispatched to the people. I'm hearing Dana Morrison-Dixon, who should have some amount of intelligence, suggesting that, oh, the cars are on the road, they're cluttered, and it's almost like she doesn't know what to do and how to get the supplies to the people. Now, if you are thinking Dana Morrison-Dixon, okay, what you should have done and what the government should be doing is suggesting to the people that we have some buses. Get some buses, some of the JUTC buses, and say, these are where we're going to meet daily. Those of you who would like to bus things to your loved ones, and it's going to X part of the country, or Y part of the country, or Z part of the country, then please meet us at this location. And then people can jump on the buses to avoid the cluttering of the vehicles on the roads. Okay? To avoid the cluttering of the vehicles on the road. Well, she did suggest that some people should also carpool. But yes, we can't have individual cars clogging the roads like that. There has to be some strategy, workable strategy, to get the relief aid to the people. But as I'm suggesting here, it seems to me that these people have ulterior motives, and they're not about saving lives as they are suggesting. Okay? And I opened the paper this morning, the Gleaner. I was really, really angry, to say the least, pissed, okay, because of what is happening. Appeal for patience. That's what the article is saying. A member of the National Committee tasked with coordinating the post-Hurricane Melissa response is appealing for more patience from desperate residents in some of the hardest hit areas as their grumbling about the distribution of relief supplies gets louder. Patience when this is life or death? What is in the head of these Jamaican people? What patience do they need to have? You are there in the luxury of your home, and you are suggesting that these people who have nothing, nothing, should exercise patience when this is about life or death, whether they die or they stay alive. What patience can they have? This isn't about their living in a luxurious home or having many tennis shoes. This is about getting basic supplies like water and food. Okay? And we know that after 3 days, if you're not properly hydrated, that you can die. Okay? We know that. So what are you suggesting, Danville Walker? These are the ineffective people that they've placed on these disaster committees. Danville Walker, a member of the Relief and Recovery Committee, acknowledged that nearly a week after the Category 5 hurricane made landfall in Jamaica, there are communities that remain completely cut off. But yes, well, you need to get to see where they're cut off. What is this going around and chatting nonsense? But said inaccessible roads and loss of connectivity are among the challenges faced by the aid agencies. But you have drones, right? You have drones. You have drones. And the United States can collaborate with other countries to ensure that you hover around that small territory, okay? And get the supplies to the people. This is not a massive country. This is a small, tiny piece of rock. It's not even the Dominican Republic or Haiti. Way bigger than Jamaica is. Okay? Way bigger than Jamaica is. And yet we're behaving as if we're living in a massive territory. Okay? Now listen to what Donald Walker is saying. You have to have some patience. He responded yesterday when asked what was his message to weary residents trying to get food and other basic supplies. What a wicked set of creatures these people are. How more wicked can you be? He also appealed to Jamaicans in other parishes who have family members in the disaster hit areas to try everything you can to get to them and assist them in any way you can. Yes, and I'm sure they're doing, but you guys have not even presided over a good economy for many people to help in the way that they can help. Because many of you have stolen the money and made a lot of Jamaicans impoverished there. Okay? You've allowed the IMF to have run roughshod over the country, taking out billions of dollars out of our NHT funds, talking about lowering of debt. Lowering of debt. Whose debt? Whose debt is it that is being lowered? And Jamaicans are going to find out very shortly. Gary Williams, a resident of White House, Westmoreland, complained during an interview with the global media outlet British Broadcasting Corporation that he has heard promises of incoming aid deliveries, but they not turn up. They not turn up. All you're seeing are the planes, the posturing, planes landing, and people are not getting the supplies. We've been here, we've seen this, and that our government is wicked. Our government is wicked, and we have to call them out. We have to call them out, Jamaicans. These people, this is controlled famine and starvation. This is incredible. Words can't explain the situation we're in. People are saying it's horrible. I don't even know what to say. So many hopeless, helpless, and lifeless people here right now. It's going to cause disease, a breakout of disease, because we're wicked. Wicked country. And the more evil we are, it's the more God is going to send or allow, because he's not the one who of this. God is not destructive, but he allows the enemy to send these destructive forces upon us. The sad thing is that some of the people who might not have contributed will die in the process. Okay? Now listen to what the Minister of Health and Wellness, Dr. Tufton, is saying. He acknowledged that the security of relief supplies and aid workers is likely to become an issue when people are not afforded the conveniences sometimes of having access to food and other basic supplies. Okay? However, he said it's something the government will have to manage very carefully. Manage how? By just sitting in a boardroom and talking nonsense and postulating and posturing? I have been in touch with the Minister of National Security. Those discussions have taken place, and I know that there is a strong presence by the security forces on the ground in the affected areas to maintain law and order. So it's just about maintaining law and order and managing the people, looking at them while they suffer, looking at them, sending security forces to look at them, right? Perhaps to protect the businesses of people who are wealthy and to manage the people, that they don't riot. Wow. This is incredible. This is incredible. My God. This is going on for days. This has to, even a day is a nightmare, you know. Even one day, looking at the destitution that is in these areas is a nightmare. One day is eternity, I should say. And yet still, Danville Walker is suggesting that the people should exercise patience. Right? Now, the Gleaner also went on with a story, Hurricane Gridlock. Traffic grinds to a crawl as Jamaicans flock to areas hit badly by Melissa for a first-hand view of devastation. And I hope those people are heading down there, just not going down there for views. And I think a lot of them are doing that, even though sometimes they're trying to inform the people of what is happening. But I think sometimes we're also the people. Why do we want to look at all those things that they're showing? The dead bodies. I saw a video there, oh, the dead bodies on the ground, and what, over 100,000 likes. You love these sensational things. And that is why it's feeding into the hype rather than the substance of what they should be doing. Okay? What you should be showing us are the relief coming and reporting that there are no reliefs. But don't trust all these dead bodies, right? Who wants to see that? If you have to deal with it, you have to deal with it. But those of us who don't want to deal with it, why show us that? But it gets lots of views because our people, our sensibilities are so crude that we would want to watch all of those dead bodies strewn. And the international media, they are the leaders, right? They are the cheerleaders in terms of that. All right. The same thing they did to Haiti after the earthquake in 2010. Right? Now, unless it is necessary, Jamaicans are urged not to venture into western parishes hit hard by Hurricane Melissa, as the influx is causing heavy traffic, which has been slowing down official emergency response. Get helicopters, get buses. I'm telling you that people and organize that these people can join the buses and they can transport the supplies to the people. All right? That is what they need to do. Right? This talk about, and telling people what they should do or shouldn't do is because the government is ineffective. If we had an effective government, then people would know what to do and their movements would have been curtailed. But the government is not taking the initiative more than posturing and going on helicopter rides and pretending to hug people and behave as if you're nice and you wish them well. Okay? And giving them a superficial hug. Okay? We want better than that. We want better than that. And where are the national reserves, Prime Minister? And what are you doing with it? What are you doing with it? And all of this debt that we've paid down, why are not benefiting now from some of the fact that we are on track to reducing it very shortly to 60% and below? Why can't the IMF lift some of its strictures, its economic strictures at this given moment? Because they're wicked, a wicked bunch of people. Okay? And then we sit and we allow the government to run roughshod over us by bamboozling us, hoodwinking us into believing that the supplies are there to help the people, when it's all about, is a part of the disaster capitalism infrastructure, where people are there to make hundreds of thousands, if not billions of dollars from the disaster that you are currently looking at, including the loss of many lives. Okay? And the outbreak of diseases. If the United States could have treated its citizens in Hurricane Katrina, during Hurricane Helene of North Carolina, okay, Maria of Puerto Rico, if they treated their citizens in the shabby way that they treated them, do you expect that they're going to treat Jamaicans well? Do you really expect them to do that? And I've been seeing comments from North Carolina that they have not yet got back on their feet because the government abandoned them. Right? The government abandoned them under a Democratic Party. I think the hurricane happened under the Biden administration. And the fires and all of these things that have happened in Hawaii totally abandoned them and went there and bought up, the rich went there and bought up lands. And that's how they could become wealthy. So we have to wake up and to see that we have now got to be proactive and do the helping and tell the government that enough is enough. Enough is enough. We've had enough of their nonsense. Thank you so much for joining. I hope that you'd like, share, and subscribe. Like the video so the videos can be shared with as many people on the platform. And you can go to listen to nonsense about, what Faye Ellington is saying about Hurricane Melissa and all of that. You can go to listen to her nonsense. Rather than telling what is happening and critiquing, she's there giving you jokes and you love the jokes and you're giving her thousands of views. Yeah, that is where Jamaica is. Because people benefit and they laugh at the nonsense. Okay? It's not time to laugh now. It's a serious time. It's time for us to go with shovels and get food on the ground and water supplies so people can survive and stop the nonsense. This is enough.